Well, hello. Hello, my fellow sensitive people. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do the empath prayer and take a look. It would appear that Lindsey Graham has passed away. We want to give our condolences to the family of Lindsey Graham. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the tarot cards and find out if we can get information about his passing. There have been different discussions about what happened. Evidently, he had a brief illness and then died. So there's a couple things going on right now that have people talking. Number one, COVID is back on the rise. People have stopped being vaccinated. Is it possible he was traveling? He caught a case of COVID. COVID is inflammatory. Maybe Lindsey Graham was one of the people to succumb to COVID because it is back up and it is associated with inflammation, coronary artery disease, because it can cause you to throw clots. Disseminated intravascular coagulation is the name of the condition where your body starts producing clots when it's exposed to a virus or something like that. So that's one theory. The brief illness, he caught a virus, maybe he caught COVID because COVID has come back. The second theory is that something happened. He was in Ukraine. He was advocating for Zelensky. He was no friend of Putin. He would have been prolonging the war and he would have been supporting the side of Ukraine. Is it possible that he was poisoned by one of Putin's agents, that somebody was able to poison him or give him something while he was in Ukraine, a slow-acting poison that induced something? So we have one theory that he caught a virus or something like that, the brief illness that induced a coronary event like COVID. Another is no, this person was potentially murdered with a neurotoxin or something like that. And the third is natural causes, right? The third, he got older, he was an older gentleman, and, these things happen. Energetically, we have talked about prophecies in the Ifa. We've talked about this idea that comes up in the Yoruba tradition that is typified by an energy known as Oshun, that we are entering into the time of Oshun, when Oshun is leaving the earth. And Oshun is seen as the feminine attributes of the divine. And she is not too happy with the way human beings are treating women's rights. This is one of the theories of Oshun, of what is upsetting Oshun, and that one of the theories is that she could potentially, that we could be seeing like the revenge of Oshun. People have talked about that this could be the time when we see a lot of people being taken out. Like this is the time when Oshun takes her vengeance. So over the theory of this energy of Oshun, the goddess Oshun coming back or taking a vengeance, it was prophesied that we would see the fall of a lot of powerful men at this time because of this idea of the vengeance of Oshun, right? That she would seek justice, and that part of her pursuit of justice would be this taking out of people in positions of power that potentially harm women, right? So, here's what we know for sure. Yes, it is true. I'm trying to get a good picture of Oshun here. It is true that the energy of Oshun is heavy over the earth. This prophecy, it is true that this idea of vengeance coming, right? This idea of vengeance, or this idea of karma coming back on the earth from the goddess Oshun, right? Or from, the prayers of the women who have wept. This idea that the collective prayers or the tears of all the women throughout the world who have been persecuted because of the policies that certain people have been promoting, that eventually what goes around comes around, and that this is the year that what goes around is coming around. That's the best way to describe it. That it is an energy, it is the collective tears and the screams and the wails from every woman and every child who has been the victim of human rights violations because of policies or people in positions of power that have done things that they should not have done. Now, this is also expressed in Durga, who becomes Kali in the Indian tradition, right? So, in the Indian tradition, you have this idea that Durga becomes Kali, and that is that she is stomping on the demon, and that she stomps on the demon, the wicked, abusive oppressor, and in order to do the will of the divine, she must become a demon herself, and she becomes this uh, demon that stomps on. She becomes Kali, and as Kali, she stomps on the abuser. So this is the wrath of Kali. You can see her holding she has decapitated the demon. She's holding a decapitated demon. Similar imagery in that particular archetype. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about a time energetically that is prophesied when those who have been in positions of power and have abused women and children will face justice. And we had talked about that this would be a year when we would see war, that we would see tyrannical regimes fall, and persons that harm the vulnerable would fall. And that she would spare no mercy. That was basically the prophecy. And so since that prophecy, since we've been meditating on that prophecy, several things have happened, including we're seeing the fall of Putin and the taking over of Ukraine. Now Crimea is falling, and the Russians are evacuating. We're also seeing the fall of the IRGC in Iran, its oppressive regime, which gunned down something like 40,000 of its own citizens in 2 days. It's considered the worst human rights record of any country in the world, next to, say, the Congo, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. So it was ironic that they had paid their way into the UN. The UN had become corrupted by these countries paying their way into positions of power, often countries with horrible human rights record. And that's what we saw with Iran when Iran had decided that they wanted to be heading the Human Rights Council, and that they were going to lecture the world on human rights while gunning down 40,000 of their own citizens. So the other thing is that they are now threatening to kill Donald Trump, right? So we now have Trump is going to kill all them before they kill him. And so we have the prophecy playing itself out as this kind of circulating firing squad. So Mitch McConnell is gone. He's not coming back. He's going to retire. If he's survived, he's retiring, right? We really feel that his wife, Chow, could take his seat. And now we have Lindsey Graham passing as well. We have Trump on the ropes, ill, threats against him, the fall of some pretty horrible dictatorships. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the empath prayer, and let's try and see if we can get information about the passing of Lindsey Graham. Of course, we send our condolences to his family, and we wish them peace. Let's come together. Let's bring in the empath prayer. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. All right, we're going to do it. We're just going to go ahead and we're using the traditional Rider-Waite today for those people who really like the design. I got these in Wales. I don't know if you'll be able to get this particular version of the Rider-Waite in the United States. I got them when I was in Cardiff and I really like them. Really like this deck. I will be doing a review series on the tarot decks in the coming days, so be sure and check that out. My favorite decks. I've got, excuse me, I've got about 50 that I have to go through a series of tarot deck reviews. It'll be fun. All right, what we know for now about Lindsey Graham's passing. Spirit can give us some information about this. I would really appreciate it. I'll just do 4 cards, okay? Because I have a few questions here. I'm feeling that it was really hard on his body. This is one of the things that we've talked about with seniors and travel. There are a couple of things that can go wrong. We've talked about increased risk for clots, right? You're on a plane for a long period of time. Deep venous thrombosis can happen. This is the first problem. The second problem when you travel a lot is that you are exposed to viruses. So what they're telling me is that he was not murdered by Putin, that he traveled, his immune system got weak and he caught a virus, and that was what induced the heart attack. You can become dehydrated, sick, in an inflamed situation. We can see the first card was he traveled. The Knight of Wands is a card that has to do with travel, getting on a plane and traveling. So his death was associated with his travel. His house of opposition is war and angry violence against him. However, my card for COVID and for viruses is also the Knight of Swords. And so one way you could interpret it is he took a trip and then an angry assassin came and took him out, right? Another way you could interpret it is that angry wind came and took him out. So angry wind is COVID or a heavy virus that comes. The reason we use this imagery for COVID is because of something called Wei Qi in Chinese medicine, and that is your immune system that protects against anything that attacks your wind system. It can come through the back, right? And so that's why we will go like this when the wind hits us in the back. And that desire to defend against the heavy wind of the back or the angry wind, that's called Wei Qi. So angry wind appears as the Knight of Swords, an angry wind condition. Wind is the lungs, the ability to breathe, right? So an angry wind condition is in his house of opposition. So I think he caught a virus. I think he traveled. I think he got dehydrated. He got run down. He got sick. He caught a virus. It was a brief illness, as they said. And then we have the hope and fears, 2 of Cups. This is a feeling like he has been reunited. He has been reunited with others, like with his mom, perhaps. You know, the keeper of the pearls, you know, all those things that Lindsey likes. Final outcome is the Emperor. I have a feeling that this was somebody who was on his own. His family died, and it was his, you know, he was on his own raising. Father died young. And probably didn't have a father for part of his life. I feel like this is somebody, when you go into this energy, he did not have a father present to raise him up into adulthood. Even, I don't know when his father passed, but this is somebody who struggles with his identity as a man. And no judgment if somebody has gender dysphoria or anything like that. But when I sit in the shoes of Lindsey Graham, I don't feel like my father is with me. I don't feel like he and I are going and watching a baseball game together. It's just he feels absent, and but I feel very close to my mother. And every time I connect with my mother as Lindsey Graham, I see her pearls. I see her pearl necklace. I see her beauty, her smell, her beauty, her. This was a man who maybe his entire life revolved around his mother. He was very close to his mother, but I feel an absence when I go into the energy that my father is far from me. Evidently, his father owned a bar. Maybe his father was working all the time. I don't know. But even in death, I don't feel like he is met by his father. I feel like he is met by his mother. And crossing the river Styx, right? And it's always him and his mother. Um, and there's a younger child there too who has passed. I don't know if he had a younger sibling or somebody else. Did his when did I want to look this up? I know he has a daughter, a sister he raised. But it looked like, yeah, he was met by his mother in his passing, and I feel his father is distant from him for some reason. I don't feel I'm looking at a murder here. I feel that I'm looking at an illness, literally, like a virus, like COVID or something. Yeah. I want to just check Mitch McConnell one more time because people feel that that is also a situation that's not looking too good. What's Mitch McConnell's health like? I haven't really looked into his health. Is he going to be okay? But I feel he's retiring for sure. I just don't see how he could return, particularly since he's going to be retiring in November anyway. I just don't see him returning back to the Senate. And that means the budget, etc. They've got 2 senators out. I definitely get that Mitch McConnell will not be returning to the Senate. There's a couple of reasons why I see that. Right now, if they say that they're talking to him, that's not what this appears like. Because 2 of Swords, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. I'd be more inclined to think coma or he's just shut down. I don't think, look, why can't he talk to the press from his phone? Makes no sense. If people are talking to him, why can't he just, hey, I'll talk to CNN? Yeah, I'm sick. I'm getting well. Why can't he have a 2-3 minute phone call with CNN? So it's bizarre that they're saying they spoke to him. He knows people are worried, but he hasn't called in once to Fox News for a 2-minute conversation. So this 2 of Swords is interesting because it sits in the 7th house, and the 7th house would be his immediate environment. So, you're non-competent. What do they call that? Incapacitated, right? The Sword of Truth is his enemy at this time. So that's also interesting because Archangel Michael, the Sword of Truth, stands as his house of opposition. I really do think that they are actively trying to cover up his health, particularly with that 2 of Swords there. And boy, 9 of Swords. I don't think that he is passed. I'm not getting that he is passed. I am getting that he is not able to come to the phone, that he is not well, and that he has been ridden. And here is why I think it's over with him in the Senate courts coming in. Look, there will be filings from the Democrats. There will be filings from people that he needs to prove that he is alive. There's going to be some kind of court or legal action uh, to make a declaration because he's been gone for too long. So the courts are coming in. Let me see if I can get something else for you guys. His mind is gone. Even if he does come back, his brain is no longer what he lost too much oxygen. That's what I think. Because I'll tell you why. Seven of Cups in his cups, pipe dreams, come out to lunch. This guy is probably on the Laden for pain, completely out of it, and this guy's not talking to people on the phone. I'm sorry, I just don't see that here. If he is, he's I'm sorry. Mitch McConnell is not talking to you. He's not talking to any. Maybe he's talking to, I don't know. He's not talking to anybody. Phantoms in his own mind, maybe. The House of Opposition is the House of Truth. I mean, is the Page of Swords, which is Michael, who slays the demons. Devil. Six of Cups. People are genuinely concerned. Also, people want to come and visit. Why can't we come and visit our friend? We brought flour. No. We will make sure he gets them. There is a block. So it's in the House of Opposition, Six of Cups. People cannot get in to see him. They're not letting anybody in to see him. This is becoming very interesting to me. I can tell you, as a psychic, as a remote viewer, as a tarot card reader, I'm intrigued. Let's go further into this. Look, the best way to describe this is that he is no longer what he was. Now, for some of you, that may be a good thing, if you didn't like who he used to be. But that person, the person that he was, no longer exists. Every time I see the moon card, I think about that song. What's it? The Werewolves of London. The Werewolves of London. Yes. Oh. You guys know that? Werewolves of London. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I love that song. Yeah, Warren Steven. What, Warren Zalon, is that? Is that his name? Who? Oh, yeah. Right? You know this one? Right? The Werewolves of London. Yes, right? We know that song. So that famous song, The Howling of the Moon, and the lunacy that comes with it, it is a sign of insanity. So we don't have mental health here. The Moon and Nine of Swords with Mitch McConnell, and then here again, shut down and Seven of Cups. I'm sorry, folks. There's no way I can interpret this other than that this person's mind is gone. I'm sorry. I just can't. Final outcome for him, at peace in the garden. But his relationship, he will be at peace in the garden. But his career in the Senate, I'm very confident with those cards. This man is not coming back to the Senate. You saw the cards. All right. We continue to send prayers and good vibes to everyone who suffers. We are good people. We don't want to see this world. We don't want to see anyone suffering. We want only good things for everyone. And so we continue to say our prayers that we all turn to the light, turn towards goodness, continue to be good, to pray for others, keep your light shining bright. and just pray that everyone remains safe and do good whenever you can. All right, thanks for watching. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, I'm your girl. I'd love to speak with you. You can book me through Booksy, and all that information is below this video. Okay, we are out of here. Be sure and like and subscribe as we march towards 150,000 subscribers. So grateful to be here. So be kind to all, so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for everything, you guys. You're awesome. Bye.